everyone, it's me, Krista. Welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. If not, welcome for the very first time to my little art corner here on YouTube. Today we're going to be playing around with all of the art supplies that came in the December 2020 SketchBox premium box. We got a lot of watercolor stuff, and it's going to be a lot of fun to play around with it. For this project, I actually started out with a sketch. I did this on the same paper I did swatches. I don't normally do sketches, but I had an idea. I wanted to see if it would work with these colors. I wanted to do kind of an autumn zombie with little leaves over her eyes, so that's what we did. I'm getting my sketch in there just using a mechanical pencil, and I'm just getting the very basic idea in, and I pulled in the original sketch idea to show on screen again. For this one, I actually streamed it on Twitch originally, so if you want to follow me there and catch live streams, it's K.LoganArt at Twitch. I wanted her to also have an almost tree bark-like outfit, that's why there's that diagonal around the neck. I wanted to keep it very autumn, very zombie, and my inspiration for this was kind of a mixture between Poison Ivy and Billy from Hocus Pocus, because I wanted her to also have some stitched lips going on. After I got my sketch in and I wanted to start adding colors, I started with that TCW Watercolor Sparks powder in olive. I love this. I'm looking forward to using it in a lot of other watercolor projects. Then I started pulling in the other watercolor pencils over it, the SketchBox signature ones, using the kind of yellowish color and the blue one, mixing them all together. The yellow one more towards highlights, trying to leave a little bit of the paper showing at this point still. And then for the darker parts, pulling in the blue. For this one, I do start with a lot of water towards the beginning, and then I start layering the dry pencils over it towards the end. I did use the yellow, the caramel color, sorry, for the Marabou art crayon for the base layer of the hair, and to help bring in some brighter color into the skin tone. I'm not a huge fan of these, and I should have thought about it before applying this as a base layer, because the black liner isn't going to want to play over this very well, because it's more waxy. I got a lot of waxy buildup and I was having issues using the liner on top of it. My problem, if you guys use this stuff, maybe don't do that. At this point, I'm letting the hair dry and I start using the black liner over the rest of the drawing. I wanted to make sure that I got those leaves really well defined, the stitches on her lip, and started adding texture to the bark and getting some of the outline on her neck, head, and shoulder area. Once the hair is pretty much dry, I also start pulling that liner in there. At first I just start doing some of the basic outlines, and much later I'm going to be pulling in a lot more of those lines into it. I also start pulling in a lot of those colored pencils on top of it, the blue and the yellow specifically in there. I also pull in a darker orange color that I think they have in there as well. To pull some highlights back out, I use that Holbein Artist Gouache. I love this gouache. It is super bright, super white. I'm definitely going to be using this in a lot of other projects later. I want to see how it works with just a regular colored pencil, because I might be able to use this in certain situations instead of using my white gel pen. If I have a thin enough little brush, I might be able to do it. We'll see. I'm also looking forward to using it with some marker drawings. Out of everything in this box, I think this and the Watercolor Sparks powder are my two favorite things. Since I did it in the sketch, I do also start bringing that gouache into the background to take away the toned paper. I also wanted to cover up some of the orange smudge I have going on from the crown. It's completely my fault. For the Marabou art crayons, the caramel one worked okay. It's still not my favorite. That terracotta one was not good at all for me. I'm not sure if it was just that specific one or if it's just a pigment with binding issue. It didn't want to play well with the water. It was kind of gross and applied chunky on the drawing itself when I used it dry. I understand they're supposed to be a little waxy, but that one I just didn't care for as well. At this point in the drawing, I decided that I wanted to go more illustrative with the hair and just play around with it and have a lot of fun, so I start pulling in these wavy lines using the black liner. For the background, I'm going back and forth between the white gouache and the blue watercolor pencil. I'm also pulling in some darker colors on top of what I have in the hair already. We're just doing a lot of layering. It's what I always love to do. We love a good layer here. I had a lot of fun doing the hair on this one, I think just because it's a little messy and I could just doodle a little bit and be more carefree with it. I just had a blast doing that part. I also jump in with the other colors of colored pencil a little bit more, just to add some more tones in that hair. just so it's not all the exact same color going on. I notice whenever I use watercolor color pencils, I always start with it being really wet, adding a lot of water, and then I focus more on adding drier layers the further I go. It's just the process I do with it. I'm not sure if it's something that everyone else does. It is really nice because you can get different effects with just one item versus if you were just using regular watercolor and then pulling in a regular colored pencil on top of it. I love them. I think they're a lot of fun to use. By the way, if you're doing a project like this, especially with a watercolor paper like the one that came in this month's box, you probably should tape it down. I definitely should have taped it down. I think that I thought the watercolor paper was thicker than it actually is, but since it's not as thick as I thought it was, and I don't have it taped down, you can see it's kind of curving inward. We've got a little bit of a concave situation going on with this paper. I decided at this point I wanted to make the background more blue, so I start pulling in the pencil in the blue. I also pull in a little bit of water, but I make a big mistake here because I pull in the dry pencil on top of where I had it wet too quickly, and I kind of messed up the paper a little bit. I also noticed with these watercolor pencils, if there's enough water added, it does completely lift up the pencil itself, because there was a point here where I was starting to see the tan of the paper again after all those layers of wash and then all the layers of colored pencil on top of it, just so you know. Overall, I had a lot of fun with this project. I really enjoyed how she turned out. I like how she looks a little bit creepy, but also kind of whimsical. It seems like a nice point in between. For the most part, I really enjoyed the supplies that came in the December 2020 box, and I like how the colors all work together, and for the most part, I think everything worked pretty well together, except for that single marabou crown in terracotta. But with that, this project, and therefore this video, is pretty much done. If you liked it, please hit that like button. If you have any comments, questions, feelings, concerns, or you want to let me know how the items in this month's box worked for you, let me know all about that in that comment section down below. If you want to see more videos like this, please feel free to subscribe. I do SketchBox unboxings and projects once a month. As always, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day or night to watch this video and listen to me ramble. I greatly appreciate it. I look forward to hearing from you guys soon, and you will definitely be hearing from me soon. Bye, everybody!